Okay. So today I'm with Jesus Valencia. He's going to start a 10 series. Say hello to everybody, Jesus. Hola. And we're going to do a standard Rolf 10 series, and we're going to capture part of the process for educational purposes, both in English and Spanglish. Okay.
Okay, let's get started. I put this on fast motion just to show you the process I worked with Jesus. We started on the superficial fascia from his left arm and worked up toward the shoulder. Everywhere where the fascia crossed the external surface of the bone, we concentrated on that. I noticed he had a lot of stuff going on with the scapulas, and the left scapula was really hiked up. So when I went after the scapula, as you can see here, I worked quite a bit, stayed really on the surface, but helped him with a little bit of range of motion to start to feel where gravity impacted the tension on his arm. So he played with that a little bit. Had to get some extension on those lats. Moved up to start feeling what was going on with the nuchal ligament and with his connection of his head to his torso. And I could see that we needed a lot of length in the back of the neck. So this is kind of a cursory pass on the way to the other arm. And it kind of helped him get his head a little more relaxed on the table, too, to kind of start experiencing a little length in the back of the neck so that it went with the changes he was getting in his arm as it was coming up. He'd been working out in the gym and was a little bit sore when he showed up, so I felt like it was a very light session for a first hour. You can see I'm working on the traps right there, trying to get some symmetry in the traps. As you saw, you'll see later, the left trap was very hiked up. Looked like the scapula had migrated out of its pocket. So I'm working the coracoid process on that side and came back and worked his arm. I put it on pretty fast speed here, but he was in a hurry. He'd already done a whole bunch of work that day, so he was tired. I turned him over. I saw that he was going to have trouble doing some stuff based on what was going on with his body. So normally when I worked the back, I would have somebody curl up, and I did that later with him after we got him loosened up a little bit. But the idea of working the hamstrings in a traditional way and the IT band in the traditional way. This is Gerald Clark with you on January 27th, 2019. And I just recently finished the first session with Jesus Valencia, who's given me permission to share some of his progress. Jesus is 19 years old, and this is his first exposure to structural integration. So after his first session, I captured his before and after, and we're in client view right now, so let's blow this up and take a look and see what happened. Okay, and unfortunately the camera that I'm using is not really very clear, but I think from a geometric shape standpoint, it does the job. But if you have a clearer camera than this one, I recommend you using it. So this is his hour one before. Let's see, there's before. You can tell because the sun was it was about 5:30, so the sun was coming in through the window. And then this is the after. So looking at it with my first hour glasses, basically I see a large change from the front in the horizontality of the pelvis. It looks like the pelvis changed angles in the front, which looks like happened because of some length in the torso that happened right here. You can see that the belly button starts out way over here, away from the line, and then here you can see it's closer to the line. There's some pattern here. This left-leaning pattern shows up relative to this plumb bob, so you can see that starting to change already, and it really caused an extension of the torso, so much so that the shoulders came up above this line here. I thought that was interesting. I thought it was because of the change in the position of this hand. You can see before they're pretty close, even though this one's elevated higher than this one, and there's a lot of stuff going on down below here. The head does somewhat cross through the mid-sagittal line, And so here I can see there's some lift in his head also. I don't think it's just, it's his hairline, including the hair, that takes him up about a half an inch, it looks like, up in there. So, and the chin came up, this shoulder came up, and this hand curled a little bit, but it looks like the space in between the arms is what really changed the position of the hands. You can see that. You can see it better from the back, so let's look at it from the side. So this is the left side. You can see the ankle. I aligned him real good with the tape here in our new gravity body chart back here. So he was lined up pretty well. He's pretty tall. So here's the before, and there's the after. It's quite interesting what happened here is his weight shifted forward, it looks like, because of whatever happened with the pelvis here. And you can see the whole torso came forward. Here's the edge here, and there's that line. It came all the way forward to that line. So his whole weight shifted forward, which, looking at it, it needed to, because the shoulder is way back here. It really needs to be on this line, the shoulder does. But somehow that head has fallen back and came pretty close to where the ear is here because of the counterbalance of the forward head to counteract what's going on in the torso. So let's look at that one more time. So it looks like, oh wow, you came off your line, but in reality, the structure down below started coming on the line, because you can see the shoulder came up on the line, the knee came more up on the line, but now we've got this length issue in the back of the head to get it to come up and the ear to come way back here. So he's going to gain quite a bit more height, I would say, up in here when he's done. Okay, this one from the back was quite crazy. You can see that the length from this shoulder to the neck and this shoulder to the neck, they're quite different. This one's very shortened. And at the same time, it looks like the scapula here is hiked up out of its pocket. You can see this one's got a kind of a shimmery face, where this one's hidden and the shoulder's very high. And that might explain why this hand is higher than this one too. You can see it. This one's on the line, this one's below it. Okay. And it looks like a little bit of a left-facing pelvis and a right-facing torso. So you can go back and forth here. You can see the entire shoulder girdle came to the right as this shoulder came down into the pocket. So now you can see the inferior angle of the scapula here. Now this one actually looks high. It's higher than that one. So this one kind of came down in its pocket here, and it's kind of red. Something changed here. So we got quite a lot of interesting stuff going on right there, lumbodorsal hinge still. But it's quite amazing. The head stayed very centered on that line. He must have been really looking at that line, keeping his head there. Look how the ear and the horizontality of the ears changed on this. So you can see that one ear came down and the other one came to the right as the structure underneath it began to change. Let me just go back and forth. So it's almost like the left shoulder came down, the right shoulder came up. It came a little more horizontal. The pelvis on the left side came up, which you saw that in the front, and it made it more horizontal. You can see there's a little bit of an angle coming down this way, and the clothing fits it accordingly. And it looks like his right leg at the trochanter has a bit of a bulge here at the beginning, like it's pulling his weight off to the, and he's probably putting more weight on the left foot because of that. And you can see here it becomes much more even. You can tell with the clothing line. It does something crazy with the legs. You get some crazy rotation here in the legs that starts showing up. But look how it comes all the way up to the torso. Hand positions both came more even here. Okay. Big change in the upper torso through the sternum, all through the pelvis. So this is going the right direction very quickly after one session. Let's see if we got the same result from the right. Here from the right, you can see the ankle might be just slightly forward of this line. We might have scooched him a little too far forward. But in the same way as we saw on the other side, when you get up to the line here, this shoulder is actually in front of the line, whereas when we looked at it from the other side, the shoulder was behind the line. So that means he had a pretty bad left-facing torso to cause that. Okay, we saw that with the shoulder hiked up, so that we'll expect to change. So watch the weight shift here when we go back to after. So here's the after. You can see you got some length down here, right where the IT band joins into the pelvis. especially near the TFL and some real crunchy stuff that was going on here around the trochanter. So that seemed to have shown up in the change in the leg length. Okay, and it's interesting. The the head kind of came up just like we saw before, but the whole posture came forward in front of the line, which is interesting. So what causes that is his perception of what he believes is level, and I've told him to look straight ahead what's level. As the head changes based on that perception, you can see it adjusts with the body. Whoops, let's look at that one more time. So you can see he's starting to get some length in the back of the neck. The shoulders came down here. Head started coming up, and ultimately we got to get more length here and get this ear to come all the way back to here, which means we got to get these feet done, get some order in the feet here so the trochanter here can come all the way back to this line. Okay, so let's look at it one more time. Front, left, big change from the left. Wow. Back, big change from the back, and then the right. Okay. All right, this has been Gerald Clark with Client View with Jesus Valencia, who's now a body in transition.